For years now, Google and the other masters of the universe in Silicon Valley have assured the public that they don't engage in censorship. Despite numerous Breitbart investigations showing rampant political bias at all levels of Google, the company insists that the biases of their top executives do not filter down into their product. Google's allies in the Democratic Party go even further. They say that allegations that Google or other Silicon Valley companies engage in political censorship is simply a conspiracy theory cooked up by partisans and political opportunists. Of course, Google and its allies don't have an incentive to admit to censorship openly, because doing so would invite scrutiny from officials and regulators. The Justice Department has already convened a meeting to address the question of whether Google intentionally stifles free speech. So for Google to admit to doing so would essentially be shooting themselves in the foot. So the question is there a gap between what Google says publicly and what they admit privately? Thanks to a bombshell new document leaked exclusively to Breitbart News, we can say conclusively that yes, Google has been lying to you. The Good Censor is an 85-page internal briefing that was leaked to Breitbart News from within the company. The document admits that in contrast to its public statements, Google and other tech companies have indeed shifted towards censorship in recent years. It acknowledges that these companies not only control the majority of speech on the internet, but that they initially promised free speech to their users only to abandon it later. It describes free speech as a utopian idea, the flaws of which were exposed by the so-called bad behavior of its users. The briefing also takes a swipe at President Donald Trump, arguing that he spread conspiracy theories during the 2016 election. Now, the document can be read in full on Breitbart News, and I would recommend you go and check out the whole thing. It shows you where the internet is headed, away from the initial principles of free speech and openness on which it was founded, and towards a censored, controlled space, watched over by a few unaccountable corporations who do as they please. And for conservatives and populists, who are identified again and again in this briefing as the justification for online censorship, this is nothing less than the greatest existential threat they have ever faced.